Welcome to this explainer. You know that thrill you get when you see your credit card points balance tick up? It feels like free money, right? Well, today we're going to dive into exactly where that money actually comes from. It's a fascinating, completely invisible economy that operates every single time you check out at a register. And honestly, once you see how the gears turn behind the scenes, you are never going to look at a simple card swipe the same way again.
So, picture this. You're at the grocery store, you buy $100 worth of stuff, and your card cheerfully kicks back $2. Magic. It's like the bank is just handing you cash for running your weekend errands. But let's be real, banks certainly don't run rewards programs for charity. So who is actually footing the bill for that perk? Is it the store? Is it other shoppers? Or is it you?
We all kind of just assume the bank is rewarding us for being loyal customers. And hey, on the surface, that makes perfect sense. We spend money we were going to spend anyway, rack up the points, and cash them in. But that cheerfully presented perk is really just the visible tip of the iceberg, resting on top of a massive, completely hidden economic machine. That reward budget definitely doesn't just materialize out of thin air. It is carefully funded dollar by dollar. To figure out how this whole machine is funded, we've got to peel back the very first layer. Let's call this the merchant's burden. Because when you pay that $100 with your credit card, the store doesn't actually get to keep the entire $100. A small slice gets shaved right off the top before the money even hits their bank account. So, surprise number one, the store is directly helping fund your rewards through something called acceptance fees or the merchant discount. In fact, a 2025 Government Accountability Office report pointed out that rewards cards generally cost merchants way more to accept than your standard run-of-the-mill non-rewards cards. Why? Well, because those premium cards carry higher processing fees that are specifically designed to help fund your perks. This means before you even get your point, the retailer has already paid a premium just to process your specific type of card. Now, to understand where that merchant fee actually goes, we have to look at the invisible network that fires up the exact millisecond you top your card at the checkout counter. It's not just a simple exchange between you and the cashier. You are actually standing right in the middle of a highly complex, lightning-fast ecosystem.
A single transaction connects 5 totally distinct players. First, there's you, the shopper, initiating the purchase. Second, the merchant making the sale and taking that initial fee hit. Third is the acquirer, which is basically the merchant's processing bank that routes the payment. Fourth, the card network, brands like Visa or MasterCard, providing the digital rails and setting the rules. And finally, the issuer. That's the bank that approves your credit, collects your payment, and ultimately hands out your rewards. That initial fee the merchant paid, it gets sliced up among all these players to keep the entire payment infrastructure running smoothly.
Now here's where this affects pretty much everybody, and why it really matters to your everyday wallet. Since merchants usually charge one uniform price on the shelf, no matter how you pay, these card acceptance costs just get baked into general prices. Stores treat it as an unavoidable cost of doing business. What that means is, if you're paying with cash or a basic debit card, you are very likely subsidizing someone else's first-class flight. The baseline prices in the store have been nudged upward for everyone, just to cover those expensive merchant fees generated by the rewards users. But honestly, the merchant is just the first layer. The plot thickens quite a bit here. The true funding source of this entire ecosystem is violently exposed when we look past the checkout counter, wait a few weeks, and analyze exactly how different cardholders behave when the monthly bill finally arrives. This brings us to a massive behavioral divide that perfectly illustrates the two types of users actually powering the system: transactors and revolvers. Transactors are the folks who earn rewards but pay their statement balance in full and on time every single month, totally avoiding interest. Revolvers, on the other hand, carry their balances from month to month, and as a result, they get hit with compounding borrowing costs. To wrap your head around the sheer, staggering scale of those borrowing costs, just think about this number. U.S. consumers were assessed approximately $160 billion in credit card interest, plus another $31.3 billion in fees in 2024 alone. That's according to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The rewards ecosystem is absolutely flushed with cash, and a massive chunk of it is generated straight from everyday people paying interest. And the contrast in how that massive pile of money gets distributed is wild. Based on 2022 CFPB data from major issuers, consumers who carried balances, the revolvers, paid a staggering 94% of the interest and fees, but they only received 27% of the overall rewards. Meanwhile, the transactors paid just 6% of the fees, but scooped up 73% of the rewards. It is literally a breathtaking transfer of value happening right inside the card portfolio, moving benefits directly from the borrowers to the payers.
Now, you might automatically assume this is strictly a matter of wealthy cardholders versus lower-income folks.
But a 2023 Federal Reserve research paper found that this redistribution isn't simply about income levels. It actually hinges heavily on financial sophistication. It's all about how well you understand the fine print, how accurately you track your spending, and your overall ability to basically game the system. Honestly, even high earners can lose out big time if they treat their shiny rewards card like a super expensive high-interest loan.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that there's no single villain secretly paying for your cross-country flight. It is a massive shared ecosystem. Merchants paying high processing fees, indirect consumers paying inflated uniform store prices, and balance-carrying cardholders trapped in interest cycles, they all contribute to the issuer's incredibly profitable business model. It truly takes an entire village to fund a simple 2% cashback offer.
Because the exact same piece of plastic can be a remarkably useful payment tool for one person and a dangerously expensive borrowing trap for another, you have to learn how to separate the act of paying from the act of borrowing. That distinction is absolutely critical. That is your true secret weapon to navigating this whole landscape safely. You can ensure you're the one mastering the system by running a really quick mental test every single time you pull out your card. Ask yourself, would I actually buy this item if there were 0 points attached to it? Am I 100% certain I will pay the statement balance in full before the deadline? Is the reward truly worth more than the card's steep annual fee? And finally, can I redeem these points without jumping through endless logistical hoops? By genuinely asking yourself these questions, you realize that the smartest reward might actually be the purchase you never make in the first place, keeping your hard-earned cash firmly in your own pocket. And as a fun little bonus twist, even if you are a perfect transactor, the points themselves aren't always guaranteed to hold their weight. The CFPB received over 1,200 complaints in 2023 alone about points being devalued, delayed, or restricted by the issuers. This just goes to show that a reward point is not always as solid as actual cash. It is an asset controlled entirely by someone else's rulebook, and they can change those rules whenever they feel like it.
Ultimately, a 2% reward sounds absolutely fantastic until interest enters the room. Because these perks are really just a small rebate tucked inside a much larger payment and borrowing trade. Think about it. If you're paying 20% in interest, celebrating a 2% cashback reward is kind of like trying to empty a sinking boat with a teaspoon. The math simply does not work in your favor, no matter how shiny or heavy the card is.
So, if you're sitting there saving up your hard-earned points like money in a vault, it leaves us with this final provocative thought. What happens when the company controlling that private currency quietly decides to just change its value? It's definitely something to seriously consider the next time you swipe. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions and keep mastering the hidden systems around you.
Thanks for staying to the end. If this helped, we'd really appreciate a like. It helps us make more videos like this for you. Want to stay ahead? Visit CXProWealth.com and get Market Lens, AI-powered sites delivered to your inbox to help protect and grow your money.